Hello, everyone, and welcome to All Four Downs, the NFL picks. And yes, this is a new time for us, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if we are getting ready, as you can see my screen behind, that it's Thursday night football and it's the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. We got that and much, much more as we discuss our NFL picks, updated news. And Hector, welcome aboard because, hey, I need some help. I need to go back to school. I got to do something because I had probably the worst week in the whole entire NFL of my life. This week was terrible for me, Hector.
It seemed like we started off week one on fire, and then somehow the fire has been being put out week by week for the last 2 weeks. It's not predictable. I mean, this is definitely not predictable. We're seeing things from teams that we didn't expect, and injuries are starting to pile up already 3 weeks in. So
Absolutely.
this is kind of a tough one to swallow, a hard pill to swallow. But
Hard
we're
pill to
prepared.
swallow. What you talking about? You finished 9-7. At least you was above 500. I
Oh,
only won
barely.
5 games. 5 games, 16 games. How do I ever go 5-11? I don't get it. I don't
I
get
don't.
it. But you know
It's
what? We had again, props to you. You won, and I have a lot of catching up to do now. And I will be there shortly. I
Oh yeah,
will.
this
Yeah.
is this is a long season, and me knowing how you are, how well you have your knowledge, you'll bounce back. It'll
Yeah,
definitely
yeah. Let's see how much knowledge I really have. All right.
bounce.
All four downs. We also cover college football every Tuesdays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune into that with our college picks. But let's go ahead and jump into our Power Five NFL. And I'm gonna start with myself, of course. My
Sure.
picks. I actually picked the Steelers, number one, the Vikings, Bills, Chiefs, and Seahawks. I like the way, and I'm basing it on how aggressive they are per quarter. Okay. And the Steelers, they're surprising everybody. Who would have ever thought that they'd still be undefeated right now?
Not I said the blind guy because I can't even see what you got up there.
Oh man, let me go
I
ahead and
don't,
zoom in. I know, and I'll do better next
I
time
don't have my
with
glass.
my graphics and stuff. But this was this last minute thing I had to put up. But Hector, you chose the Vikings as the number one, Bills, Seahawks, Chiefs, and Lions. What is, I mean, I got Vikings number two, but what did you see as of the Vikings being your top power rankings?
Well, they're just more of a dominant. They've just been more dominant on offense. I mean, Sam Donald's really been turning things up. You know, that's why I couldn't even. That's why I couldn't even put the Steelers in my top five. I mean, I think they've just been
Mhm.
skating by. A play here, play there. They could easily be 1 and 2 right now. If it wasn't for T.J. Watt and that defense keeping them afloat. Um, yeah, I think just Minnesota's been showing true dominance in the NFC, the way they're going out there and winning. I thought at first it might have been a fluke the way, they beat the Giants week one. That was a gimme, but going back home and, decimating the 49ers. And then the next week, you shut down CJ Stroud and Houston Texans. I mean, that shows me something, when it comes to putting the power rankings here. So
I'm gonna tell you this for the Vikings, if they continue, and I think they will, I think the defense is a lot better than what people think. And Brian Flores has that defense set.
yeah.
And this must be another resume look as for Brian Flores. Remember, he got shafted when trying to be the head coach. You know, whether Bill Belichick did it by purpose or not, I don't know. But I remember that I thought he was going to be the next New York Giants head coach. I
Right.
think that would have been the best pick, not the other Brian. But we'll see what happens tonight when the Giants go ahead and host the Dallas Cowboys. But talking about the Giants, you had them as your top worst team in the power rankings. Like they're in last place.
Yeah, I mean, I had them. last in my power rankings, and I had a couple of offers above them. It's just their way they playing, man. I just don't understand, what is going through the mindset of our head coach and our offensive coordinator. I mean, what what game plan can you not put together to
Mhm.
put good drives or consecutive drives? I mean, the Giants got lucky last week in the second half because of our defense. We had 5 possessions, okay, and we could not score. 2 of them were turnovers. It was the defense that saved the day. Dude, that is just pathetic that you
It
can
is.
put the ball in the end zone as a professional football team. You are professionals. Why are you struggling to put the ball in the end zone?
And
We
this is Brian Dable, who is the offensive guru
yeah,
that was
supposedly.
developing Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. But
Right.
the Buffalo Bills is doing a lot better than if
Much
Dable was
better.
there because of Joe Grady
If
or
anything,
Joe
that's
Brady, excuse me.
yeah, if anything, they're
You know,
strong. They're better now without Dable for some reason.
yeah.
They're
Well,
getting
last
better.
year there was a struggle, but this is the first year for Joe Grady, being the offensive coordinator. Remember, he is responsible for like the wins in LSU when Joe Burrow was the quarterback there and they won the national championship. But hey, let's go ahead and move on to our NFL picks. And again, each and every week we will update and start off with our power rankings to see what's going on, and of course with absolute best graphics ever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyways, are you ready?
Hey, let's go. Ready as ever I'm going to be. We're probably more ready than what the Giants are going to be right now.
Well, let's talk about that because there's a lot at stake here, and there's a lot of what ifs. But it just seems like no matter what ifs we have, the Giants always find a way to proving us that yeah, not this time. But the Dallas Cowboys has won 6 straight. The Dallas Cowboys won 6 straight over the New York Giants. They're looking to win 7 straight. And should the Cowboys win, it don't match the second 7 straight games. Okay. It's only been done one time, and that happened back in 1964 through 1967. Okay. Dak has won, actually, let's put it
Okay.
this way Dak has won all his games when passing 35 and below. Okay. His pass attempts 35 and below. Think about that. The Cowboys are 1-2. And I said this last year, and I'm going to say it again. When Prescott is forced to throw over 40 attempts, they lose. And it's because they don't have a run game. Why are you throwing so many passes? I don't get it. But the stats is there, the facts are there. Nobody's talking about it. Okay. And if he was to do that, maybe, just maybe, the New York Giants will have a chance should they stop the run game and beat the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe they could snap it. I don't know. But what's your take on this?
I don't see the Giants having a problem stopping the run game. The Cowboys don't got a run game. Okay. I'm more concerned about, can the Giants actually run the ball against the last ranked rushing defense in the league? I mean, who would have ever thought at this point we'd be saying that the Cowboys is ranked 32nd in the league in run defense? Okay. This is just a formula for the Giants to score, on the ground, run the ball a lot on the ground, and try to keep this somewhat of a game, because Daniel Jones is not going to be able to throw this ball. I'm sorry. I know the Cowboys defense may be a little decimated at this point. They seem to be all over the place. But I mean, right now there's a lot of get right going on in New York that they need to be on the same sheet of music. And I just feel like Daniel Jones is not going to be able to throw this ball, no matter how bad the Cowboys defense is playing right now. They're going to have to rely on Singletary to probably run this ball down their throat, and the defense is going to have to step up a second consecutive week if they have any chance of winning this game. But I mean, until I see otherwise, I mean, this is like dumb and dumber playing against each other right now. Okay.
Well, listen, this is
Honestly.
the last year for Daniel Jones, and be prepared should the Giants decide to bench Daniel Jones because should he get hurt, there is a money clause there for next year that the Giants will have to spend. So I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys to beat the New York Giants. It seems like you're also
Yeah,
taking the Dallas
I'm taking the
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to
Mm.
say that, but I'm taking the Cowboys.
All right, here we go. Win-win. Maybe. I'll be
I know.
surprised.
Oh
I'll be
my!
surprised.
I'm just gonna throw it away if I'm just gonna give up if the Giants decide to win.
All right. Let's move on to the next game that's happening on Sunday. The New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons.
This is a very good game. I am very surprised on how the Falcons have been playing this year. Um, that's what kind of gets me. They should have beaten Pittsburgh. They should have beaten Kansas City. I mean, just a couple of mistakes here and there. They could easily be 3-0. Honestly, that's just my opinion. Um, but the Saints has won, I think, 5 of the last 6 meetings in Atlanta, if I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I think this is going to make it tough to pick here, since seeing how they're in Atlanta. Um, I don't know what happened to the Saints. I mean, over the last 2 weeks, they went from riding super high to not knowing how to score points. I'm going with the Falcons here. They're, to me, a little more consistent the way they're playing football, the way they actually, able to just, pass the ball and run the ball. I just think that they're more of a balanced team right now than what the Saints are. I think the Saints just
Mhm.
shown us something, got us all hyped up for something, and now they just been knocked back down to reality a little
Oh
bit.
man.
So I'm gonna give the slight edge to the Atlanta Falcons, especially with them being at the house. I think Bijan Robinson should get back on track for this game for Atlanta, and maybe run it down the Saints' throat. Hopefully,
Well, Cousins is 2-3 versus the Saints, and 2-3 in combination with the Commanders and the New Orleans Saints. I mean, not Orleans, Saints, excuse me, of the Minnesota Vikings. Uh, but I think David Carr and Alvin Kamara, they're gonna have something brewing here, and they usually do good on the road when it go against the NFC South opponents. So I am taking the New Orleans Saints to
nice.
defeat the Atlanta Falcons.
I think this is gonna be a really good game, regardless. NFC
Absolutely.
NFC South matchup.
And now we have the NFC West versus the NFC North of the Rams going on the road against the Chicago Bears. Now, I tell you what, Matthew Stafford, he's playing one hell of a game. I got to give him props for them for making that comeback. But then on the other side, you got Caleb Williams, a rookie, but he's already thrown 4 interceptions and only 3 games so far. Okay. I'm taking the Rams. I'm trusting more on Matthew Stafford for his veteran plays over a rookie. And the Rams need to turn things around. They're 1-2. This is not the Rams that I know of. And yeah, the Bears, they got a young team. They do got a few veterans, but I'm sticking with the Rams on this.
You talk about Caleb Williams, throwing in only 4 interceptions, but he's taking 13 sacks. That offensive line is not protecting Caleb Williams. And though the Rams are banged up, I think that if they just adjust things and give the ball to Kyron Williams, the Rams will have a good shot of winning this game instead of having to come back like they did last week against the Niners. So I too take the Rams to win this game over the Bears.
Minnesota Vikings on the road against the Green Bay Packers.
Man, another good game we're talking about here, especially two teams that know each other so well in the North. I know I just, talked about how I think the Vikings are number one in my top 5 power rankings. Green Bay, they just doing something that I did not expect them to do, at this point without Aaron Rodgers. Okay. And it just stems back to last year towards the end of the season when they made that little playoff run. You know, I'm hoping Love will be returning for this game. I hope, that will be the case. I'm going with the Packers. I'm not going to call it an upset because these two teams know each other so well. Um, I'm thinking the Packers are going to edge this out. I think with, having the home crowd, I think this is going to be something. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Darnold and Jefferson. You know, I think they're averaging over about 20 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns. So they're doing their thing on offense. But just something tells me that the Packers are starting to re-energize themselves. And I think they're trying to make it a statement that the North belongs to them. But I know we're going to be talking about another team that has a similar argument. But right now, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers.
Well, look, I'm looking at the defensive portion here, and the Vikings defense are a lot better than last year.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Defense wins championships.
Mm-hmm.
You got to win your division. And you know that Green Bay went a little bit far in the playoffs, most that what we ever thought, right?
Right.
But I am taking the Minnesota Vikings because of that defense. They're making a pure statement here. I'm loving it. This is an NFC North rival, okay? And listen, 30 points Minnesota Vikings has given up in 3 games. 30
Right.
points.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to the Green Bay Packers that gave up 58 points. Now, I understand that the week 1, which I wish it never happened, being in Brazil, I think it would have probably been a different outcome if that was either in Philadelphia or in Green Bay, right?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
No, but I respect your pick. I got it. I mean, to win 2 straight games, to be where they're at, I got to give it to you, man. But I'm going for the Vikings on this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that's a bad pick because, like you said, their defense is nasty. They're allowing less than 100 yards a game in 3 weeks so far. So yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from with that.
The Pittsburgh Steelers on the road against the Indianapolis Colts. You mentioned that the defense has to save the Steelers on this one. The Colts are 1-2. What's your take on this?
I just think this is going to be, again, the Steelers defense that's going to save the day here. You know, I think Pittsburgh would do better this time on offense because they see that the Colts are the only team that they're in front of is the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to run defense. So the Colts are almost dead last, right in front of the Cowboys. So if the Steelers can, you know, muster up some kind of run game here and take that pressure off of Justin Fields from having to run all over the place, then he can have a balanced game to where they should be able to control this game, control the clock, control the ball, control the field throughout this game, and not let Anthony Richardson try to make any kind of plays to put the Colts in a winning situation here at home. So,
did you know that Anthony Richardson plays for the Steelers? Did you know that?
Did he? Does he?
No, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying he's thrown 6 interceptions. He's been sacked 4 times. He's only thrown 3 touchdowns. All right, I'm gonna tell you what, man. It's like, hey, here you go. Do whatever you need to do with this ball.
sound like Dak Prescott. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
I got the Steelers winning this game.
Okay. And that concludes that. Thank you for joining us.
All right. You're joining me with the Steelers. I love it. All right. Moving on. Denver Broncos on the road against the New York Jets. Now, I'm a big Bo Nix fan. I really am. And Bo Nix looked like he's paying attention. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's focused, but I still think that rookiness is still going to catch up to him, right? Against an explosive defense of the New York Jets. Now, it's still early in the season.
Yeah.
I'm not on the bandwagon. I'm not putting nothing on the Jets, but it seems like the Jets have an advantage of this schedule, right? To be competitive. On the other hand, the Jets had a low-score game. Actually, all their games are low-scoring games. So it's not like Aaron Rodgers is doing anything spectacular. Aaron Rodgers is not playing like he's chasing to become the MVP of the league. Okay. But it's Aaron Rodgers and there's Bo Nix. I'm gonna have to side with the Jets in this game.
Well, the Jets that got the better quarterback. I think both defenses are on their A, well, not their A game, but their B game right
Dude,
now.
I mean the Broncos had like two safeties. Well, but then again, it was against the Bears, right? Wasn't it? I
Yeah.
think. I don't know.
Well,
It doesn't matter. The matters is you're right. I mean, they're both defense. Then you make that equivalent fraction of Bo Nix or Aaron Rodgers. So who you got?
I'm going with Aaron Rodgers on it. I trust him more than I do Bo Nix. Bo Nix got lucky. He had a good game last week against Tampa Bay. But I like Aaron Rodgers and the Jets on this one. Give me the Jets.
All right, Jets. And it looks like the Giants had the first drive in this game. Uh-oh. Look at that. Neighbors got a catch, baby.
And
All right.
he's another one. He had a great week last week. Are we going to see more of him this week? I mean, are the Cowboys going to be expecting a lot of him? You know what I'm saying? So, but
Yeah.
the Giants cannot be one dimensional and just play one half. If they have a great
Mhm.
first half, how are they going to come out after halftime? Because it seemed like there's no motivation in that locker room after halftime. I don't know. I'm clueless.
Oh, me too. I am too. All right, moving on with our picks here. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of them 2-1. The Eagles offense does not look explosive to me. I'm sorry. They got Saquon Barkley, but okay, congratulations. You're 2-1 still against the Bucks. I am
This
taking the Buccaneers.
this is a rematch from last year's, wild card matchup. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, I thought that, Philadelphia was going to get out that slide, that little stinky slump that they were in, and I thought they were going to beat Tampa Bay. But
Mm-hmm.
but Buccaneers just decimated them, pretty much put them out of their misery last year.
Right.
I mean, that was just a drumming last year when it was like, what, 32-9 or something crazy thing like that. Um, but you're going with Tampa. I'm going with the Eagles on this one. I like the way I know you call me crazy, but I look at the way Washington played Tampa Bay, okay, earlier this year, and I went for Washington in that game. They lost that game. The way Tampa played against Denver. I'm looking at little things here and there. I just give a little plug in here. I got the Sunday NFL ticket. It makes it a little easier to watch these games, pay attention a little bit closer instead of watching highlights. So I wasn't really too impressed with the Buccaneers, on both those games. I'm going with the Eagles. I think they're more of explosive. I mean, I hate to say this, but Saquon Barkley, I think, has found himself all over again. And so I'm going with the Eagles on this one.
All right. Okay. We're split on that one. Cincinnati Bengals at the Carolina Panthers.
I can't seem to win for losing with the Bengals this year. It's like you give somebody a chance over and over and over, and they keep falling on their face. And it's like, when do you just stop believing in something or someone, no matter how bad they're doing? I didn't think Andy Dalton was going to do anything last week, and here he goes. He just turned it up a notch and just put the Raiders back on flat on their back last week.
Then again, it was the Raiders.
Yeah, it was the Raiders.
Yeah.
But I'm not sold on Andy Dalton. I'm going with Joe Burrow on this one. I'm giving him one more try here. Give me the Bengals to get their one win, their first win at Carolina. I'm going with the Bengals.
I agree with you. I'm going with you all the way with the Bengals. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. Now, on this one, there's a lot of news speculating that the coach is Doug Peterson's on a hot seat. Things are not going right. Everything's dysfunctional. I mean, this team has been on a decline. And when I say a decline, last season, the Jacksonville Jaguars were on the money of winning the AFC South.
Right.
And
Mm.
they started losing at the very end and allowing the Houston Texans to take the division. And the Jacksonville Jaguars eliminated themselves during the regular season, week 18. Okay. And then here we are, and the Jacksonville Jaguars starting 0-3. There's just something wrong in the locker room right now. Something's not right. Something's got to be done. And I'm telling you right now, should the Houston Texans win and win big over the Jacksonville Jaguars, somebody's getting the boot. I'm taking the
Oh yeah.
Texans.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're talking about dating back to last year. We're talking about an 8-game losing streak for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, this is not the Jaguars that we've seen or we've known in the last couple of years. Um, but the way the Houston Texans got humbled last week against Minnesota, I think they come home. I feel like this could be a trap for them. So they have to not take Jacksonville lightly. They are a division foe, so they will have to
Oh,
come
I
out
don't
and
think
play
I don't
hard.
think they're gonna take them lightly, man.
You
I
can't. You can't.
I don't think the
So
coach will allow that to happen.
I think honestly, this is going to be a close game. It's going to be closer than what people think it's going to be. Jacksonville is going to keep this a 4-quarter game.
Look,
This- but
you talking
I
about the
got you.
Texans that came back that lost to the Vikings 34-7, and you think they're gonna take that lightly? I don't think so.
Well, I just say that because some people, they do that. Some teams take other teams for granted or whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
and that's where they overlook them. And no bueno. You know what I'm saying? And so there we go. We got the Giants playing Giants football. I mean, they just cannot squander a possession. And here we go with another field goal. I mean, this is what we saw in week 1 against Minnesota. And then look what happened at the end. After leading 3-0, they get just smashed to the ground and buried on the New Jersey Turnpike. I don't know.
I don't know
Whatever.
either.
Yeah.
Let's see what that defense does and stuff. But moving on to the Washington Commanders and the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are actually favored in this game. A lot of people are picking them to win. Um, yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they love to run.
I think Kyler Murray loves to run.
That too.
Yeah.
But Washington Commanders quarterback Jalen Daniels, he can run too.
Oh, yes. And I think in the past, this would be a type of game that I would kind of just like, yeah, it's a wash. I don't care about this game. But
Mhm.
believe it or not, this is going to be a game. I am really interested in this game right here. You go
I'm
about
sticking with the home team on this one.
I completely agree here. I completely agree. But if Washington finds a way to go into Arizona and take down Kyler Murray, okay, then we're gonna have to start taking these Commanders seriously. Okay,
Seriously.
I
Yeet.
mean, look, we get taken for granted. I mean, okay, look at their 2 victories. They had to kick 7 field goals to beat the struggling Giants, and then they had to score 38 points to beat the winless Bengals. So you really haven't proved anything to us. So I can see why they're not favored in this game. But if they have another offensive shootout with Arizona, okay, then they'll start getting me to pay attention to them. They won't earn my respect, but I can start watching them more closely here if they come out with a win in Arizona and finish and come out 3-1. You see, now we can start talking about Jaden Daniels as a good quarterback in the NFC, not an elite quarterback, but a good quarterback. Because he's doing something with that Commander team that none of us have expected. But for this one, I am taking the Cardinals. So book it.
New England Patriots on the road against the San Francisco 49ers. You had the 49ers in the
Yes.
bottom 5 of the power rankings. The 49ers are dealing with a lot of injuries, and they seem like every week they're just falling and falling. But we've seen this scenario before because eventually they're all going to come back and they're going to make that run. On the other side, the Patriots, they're 1-2. I just don't see how the Patriots could even have a little bit of something. Okay. I don't think they got that luck for week 1. I'm taking the 49ers at home.
No, I'm taking the 49ers. I would trust them a little bit more. But the Patriots have been playing some good football. I mean, besides the Thursday night beatdown that the Jets gave them, they
Mhm.
hung in there against the Seahawks. So it's like that's something to look at. And yeah, I mean, I know you're probably surprised that I put them in the bottom of my the bottom five, but it's just look, if you don't know how to win
Mhm.
without your star players, then how can anyone take you serious? You got to know how to play with what you got. The Rams showed that last week when they came back and beat the 49ers. And the Rams had no excuse because they're injury prone too. Okay. Stafford knew how to use what he had to make a comeback and win that game. So that's why after seeing that, it's like I can't really put my trust in the 49ers to do anything serious at this point. I mean, besides maybe winning this game against the Patriots. But I won't be surprised if this is a one-score game at the end of the day.
Fair enough. All right, here we go. Cleveland Browns visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. This to me probably was the hardest pick in this week's schedule. The Browns look terrible and garbage. The offensive line looks garbage against the New York Giants. Then you got
Mhm.
the Las Vegas Raiders, which they're not showing any type of progression whatsoever. But here we are. The Raiders are probably a quarterback away from being probably playoff contenders. The Cleveland Browns are just overspending and going no direction. And then there's other allegations with Watson and outside the football. It's crazy. But who do I trust? Okay. Um I like the Raiders tight end, Bowers, who is, yes, the alumni of the University of Georgia. Yes. But they also got Devontae Adams, the wide receiver. And
Mhm.
by the way, has done so well against the Cleveland Browns, scoring 4 touchdowns in 2 games that he has faced the Browns.
Right.
So with that note, I'm taking the Raiders over the Browns.
To me, this is more like a pick'em game, honestly. Um, and I'm looking on the defensive side. I think Max Crosby is going to do something more with this defense than what Miles Garrett will with his defense. So
I
I
don't
think,
think he's going to even be playing because he had that injury and he
well,
had to
you
get an
never know.
MRI.
You
Yep.
just never know.
Yeah, you
But
never
the
know, but
and
he's not
and the
100%.
and the Raiders have won, I believe, the last 4 meetings in this series against against the Browns. So I look at that also. That I see that continuing. So I think the Raiders will win this game. It's going to be a sloppy. It's going to be. I think honestly, it's not even a game to be even worth watching between these two. There's a lot of issues in both Cleveland and in Las Vegas right now, but I trust the Raiders for this scenario. Just for Sunday, give me the Raiders.
Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. It's unknown whether or not um,
Herbert.
Herbert is going to play. He did leave the game early, but he's not listed as being out. So there's a lot of speculation that he may not play. But again, we never know. All right, it's too early. Maybe a game time decision. But then there's the Kansas City Chiefs, man. They still making things happen, undefeated 3-0.
And that's what I've been. That's of all things that's been bugging me all week is the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, out of all things in life to be worrying about or having, thoughts in your brain about, it was the Kansas City Chiefs. That's not even my team.
Mm.
This is a team that's 3-0. That if you look at it, they should be 0-3. Okay, I'm just saying.
I
Okay,
mean, they were 22-10 against the Raiders, but I mean, they did beat the Panthers 26-3.
who? We're talking about the
Oh, I'm
Chiefs.
looking at the Chargers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
I'm
Chiefs.
sorry. I take that back. I take that back. I take it back. I'm sorry. You're right. They missed it by the toe, right? In week
Oh,
one against the
right.
Ravens. The
Exactly.
Bengals should have won that game
Thank you.
26-25, right?
Right, exactly.
And then
And
you
then the
beat the
Falcons.
Falcons.
They fumbled the ball and the Chiefs recovered it, but it was another late drive by the Falcons. I thought I was watching them play the Eagles a second consecutive week because this was happening
Hmm.
all over again. So the Chiefs have gotten the luck of the Irish on their side, and I'm talking about Notre Dame. Okay, they
Mm.
got the luck of the Irish on their side to be 3-0. To me, they're not impressive right now. But because the Chargers are banged up in the quarterback slot, I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. But I'm telling you, if I was to know that Justin Herbert was 100% ready for this game under Jim Harbaugh, I would have picked the Chargers to beat the Chiefs because the Chiefs are not playing solid football as defending champs at this point right now. They're scrapping by one-score victories week after week, and it's like your luck is going to run out, dude.
But
Your luck.
what if what's his? He's listed as questionable. But what if Harbaugh said, "You know what? This game is not worth it. Let's save it for next week."
I
He
can
did pull
respect
him
that.
early.
I could respect that. I can
I
respect that.
I could see this being a potential upset. 91% are
You,
picking the Chiefs to win,
you're right. You're
and
right.
I gotta look at the spread. The spread
Har, Har,
will tell me everything here. Hold on for a
Harbaugh
second.
Harbaugh is not a bad coach.
No,
Okay,
then the Chiefs are favored 7 points, being that it's in LA.
right, with a banged up quarterback for LA. So that tells
That
you
will give you
something.
7 points right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that tells
Mhm.
you something. You know that they if you're a betting person, I would take the 7 points. Okay. The Chiefs are not
I'm taking the 7 points with the Chargers. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely.
And let me see if you're gonna take 7 more because we got the Buffalo Bills visiting the Baltimore Ravens.
NBC Peacock, Sunday Night Football. Love it. This
Mm,
is going to be
mm,
a
mm.
beautiful game to watch. I am going straight out and just going to tell you I'm going for the Baltimore Ravens. I have no ill will. I have no beef. I have nothing against the Buffalo Bills. They are on fire. I mean, what can you say about Josh Allen not turning that ball over? Okay. Yes, you're hearing me correctly. I'm giving Buffalo all the praises in the world, how they're playing football right now. I think they are the best team in the AFC right
And you're
now.
still going for the
I'm
Ravens.
going for the Ravens. Though I mean, it's a game that they need at home. I just feel like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are going to get right at home. They're going to fix things up. They knew they almost squandered the lead last week against the Dallas Cowboys, but now they're back at home. Okay, they've had a tough game against Kansas City. That might still be in the back of their mind. Okay, the way they lost that game, the way they lost to the Raiders, blowing that 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, that is probably bugging them. Okay, and knowing that they almost blew the lead against the Cowboys, dude, they know that they got to get right. And what way to do it is by putting the pressure on Josh Allen to get him to turn that ball over and make him to make mistakes so they can capitalize. I'm
You
taking
just
the
went
Ravens.
ahead and named all the deficiencies that's what's wrong with the Baltimore Ravens to pick the Baltimore Ravens. They
Yes,
don't
yeah.
make no sense. Your argument of why you should pick the Baltimore
No,
Ravens,
no,
it's irrelevant right now.
no,
The
no,
judge
no,
would have fired you on the spot.
no,
Like, get out of
no.
here.
It goes to show that with all those mistakes that they've made, this is the game to get it right against a team that has not made a mistake yet.
I gotta disagree with you, man.
That's
You're talking
perfectly
about
fine.
an upgraded offense of the Buffalo Bills under the
Right,
offensive coordinator Joe Brady. It
right.
just seems to me that Josh Allen doesn't have to do a lot anymore.
Okay. And I
He was, and watch this, he was doing so much, right?
mhm,
That he doesn't have to rush anymore. He has the power. He has power in that offense. And to get rid of Stephon Diggs to send him to the Houston Texans
mhm,
and to look better than when he was there,
right.
I'm sorry. The
Mhm.
Buffalo Bills, one, is using the Ravens. Look, you barely beat the Chiefs. We need to know if we can measure up and be better than what the Chiefs played against y'all. Bills at Ravens, being at Baltimore. Oh, yes. Give me
I mean,
Buffalo.
look, I as well of a football game that Buffalo's been playing this year, look who they beat.
Mhm.
Okay, they squeezed by week 1 against Arizona. Arizona should have won that game. Okay, they lost by a score. Okay, then they went after a Miami Dolphin team who didn't have Tua. Okay, they knocked them out the game, concussion. Okay, they take advantage of that.
They're
Then
hitting
they
hard, baby.
and then they go up against a Jaguar team that is just have all kind of issues in every aspect of the team: offense, defense, special teams, coaching, players, whatever. So to me, Buffalo hasn't been tested yet to show me that they are the grade A top team in the AFC. I put them there, but they haven't shown me that they can stay there. They're going to have to go out to Baltimore. They're going to have to shut down every aspect of this Ravens team, who is showing a lot of mistakes, but know how to get by as best as they can to be where they're at 1-2.
You
I'm taking
say you
this is
say they haven't been battle tested, but we're going to refer to today's game with the Giants and the Cowboys. If the Giants beat the Cowboys, it's almost saying that the Ravens are in the same boat, right? I'm just saying.
but
Talking about
yeah,
battle tests, maybe they haven't battle tested and they got that 1-2 record.
but
Maybe
the
they only
Ravens
had that week one win that they should have had. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
the Ravens could be 3-0 right now, but because of mistakes that they
Could have,
make.
should have. Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're right. You're absolutely right. The mistakes that they've made is the mistakes that Buffalo hasn't made, and that's why we're not talking about 2-3-0 teams going at it right now. But I still think that Baltimore is a good team at 1-2 with what they have and how they're playing to pull out the win. I'm not going to even call this an upset against the 3-0 Buffalo Bills. I think this would be a good win for the Ravens to put them at 2-2 to keep them in that race for the North title and chase the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Look, I am tuning in to the Cowboys and Giants right now. And the Cowboys, did they just score a touchdown? I think they scored a touchdown.
Well, of course. What did you expect? You expect them to go 3 and out?
Well, there was
No.
a flag.
Okay, and your point is,
Oh, yeah. They had a penalty to go back.
yeah,
And then after that penalty, they scored.
yeah, of course.
Well, yeah.
It's
There's a
easy.
questionable call from the refs on a legal block probably that just got overridden. But hey, it is what it is. Look, man, if you're not that good for amount of years, you're never gonna get a call in your favor.
Yeah,
So
no, of course
it
not.
is what it is. But this show is brought to you by Clovercrest Media. Visit our website, cngsportscentral.com, to find the latest podcast and all the news around your major sports. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's close this out with some Monday Night
Monday Night
Football
Football.
games, shall we?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Tennessee Titans going on the road against the Miami Dolphins. Now, I've been scratching my head. I'm like, well, who is the quarterback for Miami? Are they going to have a run game? Well, I'm looking at Tennessee. They're sticking with their quarterback. It doesn't look pretty for a prime time television for either of these two games.
No.
Even though Miami is probably favorite, but I am taking the Tennessee Titans in this game.
I think it's going to be the battle of the defenses in this game, because both offenses really suck. Okay, and who do you trust the most? I think this is I would think this is a pick'em game. I don't even know who they got favored in this game because they're both so decimated right now.
Well, right now Miami's favorite at -1.
Oh, again, we're talking about yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a straight up pick, and
I'm going with the Dolphins on this one, only
mhm.
because the Titans have a tough run defense. So I think if I don't even know if Skylar Thompson is going to be starting or not, but if they just hand the ball,
he got pain in the chest.
he got
He
he can't
pain
breathe.
in the chest. He
He
can't
can't
breathe.
breathe. He can't breathe. I think if the Dolphins take care of the ball and they keep the ball on the ground, I think it could be a headache for the Titans in this game.
All right.
So I am going with the Miami Dolphins in this one.
All right. And then lastly, the Seattle Seahawks on the road against the Detroit Lions.
Wow. This is a good Monday night game. I don't know why we got 2 Monday night games again. I do not like it.
I do. I love it. I don't
don't.
like Thursday's games, but I do like a couple of Monday night games because
I don't.
these players got enough time to rest and give their 100%. What you see on Thursday, these guys still haven't recovered from Sunday. Let's get some fair competition here.
I
because
don't
not
like it.
everybody plays on Thursday.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
saying. Just saying. But who you got? Seahawks or Lions?
You know, the Seahawks have dominated this series up to this point against the Lions, and is Sam Laporte still hurt? He is hurt, right? He's still hurt for the Lions. His ankle,
Um,
I believe it is. He was having issues with that.
they
But
got a lot of.
Detroit,
They all
but
got
Detroit,
issues.
yeah, I know, right? More than some more than others. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going with the Lions on this one. I think this will be a good win at home on Monday night on prime time against the Seattle Seahawks team, who's undefeated in the West right now. Detroit
Mm.
knows how to play one score games, tight games. You know, they've done it last year. They're picking it up this year. So they're not afraid to play close games with somebody and know how to come out on top. So I'm going with the Lions on this one. I mean, they if they have any chance to try to go back to the NFC title game, they need to win games like this against a team that's really good on defense. I mean, I think the Seahawks are only allowing like 14 points a game. That's not a whole lot. So the Lions are going to have to turn up the heat on offense if they're gonna do something.
Right.
So
And right now, Detroit's favored at 4.5.
okay,
So that's telling me that they could score and win by a touchdown or 10 points there. I
yeah,
too am going for the Lions in this game. Um, I'm looking at the stat here. The only person really that's out for the Lions on the is their offensive lineman, the center Frank Ragnow.
okay,
So they got a backup center there. So other than that, I mean, you still got Aiden Hutchinson that's still aggressive.
yes,
You
yes,
got Jack Campbell and Josh Pachal there. But with Jared Goff and was it Amon-Ra St. Brown?
yeah.
Dude,
I'm Ron St. Brown. Yeah,
all right. I mean, I think they're in good shape. But again, I'm not going to take Seattle Seahawks that lightly
right.
because of the fact that look, they've been explosive. Now they're explosive, but their head coach is probably more strict and more tougher than Pete Carroll. You're talking about, but then again, this is the reason why I haven't picked the Seattle Seahawks. Broncos 26-20, Patriots 23-20. You beat the Dolphins that didn't have Tua
Right,
24-3. So
right,
you're not putting up points.
right.
The Detroit Lions put up points all the time. And if you can't surpass nearly 30 points, you're not beating the Lions. That's why I got the Detroit Lions winning.
Yeah, Seattle's not going to run this ball effectively on Detroit. Detroit, I think, is ranked fourth in the league right now. No rush defense, so that's going to be a tough pass. I think Gino's going to have to rely on throwing that ball and hoping that on the other side of the ball, defense is going to do something to stop Jared Goff. But I think this is going to end the week 4 on a bang, on a good note with the Seahawks and the Lions.
One game is good, the other bad. They're going to lose its ratings. So they need to do a better job in booking these Monday Night Football games.
You know, I
And this is not the only time they're going to have two games Monday night. We're going to have some in a couple of weeks. And of course, I think next week we're going to have a morning game because the games are going to London.
yes, yeah. You know, you can't fault them for making these kind of primetime games because we didn't expect injuries like this to happen so early. So they might have thought that the Titans and the Dolphins was going to be a good game, you know, going into Monday night. So I don't blame them too much because you can't predict the future on how
Sure
these
you
things
can.
play out. Oh, okay.
That's what we're doing right now.
Well, if we're
Got
predicting the
him.
future,
Got him.
we're
Got
making
him.
bad
Got him.
picks. No, they got you. They
Yeah,
got
they
you.
did. I'm coming back, baby. I'm coming back.
Well, we got 5 differences. You need a major comeback.
So I'm taking all 5 this week. Book it.
That still puts you behind, but at least
I
it gets
don't
you closer.
matter. I'm climbing the ladder, baby.
It still gets you a
Hey,
little closer.
once you hit rock bottom, which direction you go?
Back to the bottom, like the Giants.
Ah.
Got him.
Oh man. Hey, this show once again, Clovercrest Media. Uh every Thursday now, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're making our picks, and it's just straight up entertainment. And we're still watching our Thursday night games and everything else. So for everybody, thank you for watching. Enjoy the football. You gotta love The NFL. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the game.